All right, let's just dive right in. If you're using GoHighLevel, you already know it's a powerhouse. But have you ever felt like it's kind of on its own island? Getting all that valuable data out of GHL and into your other essential apps? Well, it can feel like a real pain. Today, we're going to build the bridge off that island.
And this, right here, this sums it up perfectly. It's a common feeling, right? GLL is an absolute beast for your sales and marketing. There's no doubt about that. But what happens when you close a deal and you need to get that info over to your accounting software or onboard a new client in your project management tool? That's when you start to feel the walls of the silo closing in.
But what if I told you there's a way? What if you could make GoHighLevel talk to, well, pretty much anything? Your quoting tools, other CRMs, payment gateways, and what if it could happen instantly, automatically, and, like it says right here, without having to write a single line of code? Well, you can. And honestly, it's probably way easier than you think.
So, here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll quickly touch on why having disconnected apps is such a headache. Then, we'll introduce the hero of our story, webhooks. After that, we're getting hands-on and actually building one. We'll cover the really important part, mapping your data, and then we'll wrap up by looking at all the incredible new automations this unlocks for you.
Okay, so this is a pain point I'm sure we've all felt. Your business relies on a bunch of different tools, right? You've got one for finance, one for projects, and of course, GHL for all your marketing and sales. But when they don't talk to each other, you become the go-between. You're the one stuck downloading CSVs, copy-pasting names and emails, and just manually trying to keep everything in sync. It's slow, it's a drag, and let's be honest, it's a perfect recipe for mistakes. So how do we fix this? How do we build a smarter system? Well, instead of you manually carrying information from one app to the next, we're going to use something called a webhook. This is the key. This is what's going to let you break down those silo walls and let GHL talk to the rest of your business software.
So what in the world is a webhook? Don't let the techy-sounding name throw you off. It's actually super simple. At its heart, it's just an automated message. When something happens in GHL, like, say, a new person fills out one of your forms, the webhook acts like a little digital messenger that instantly zips over to your other app and says, "Hey, we just got a new lead." It's that simple. No waiting, no manual effort. And this just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got the old way, exporting files, manually importing them, and just hoping you didn't mess up a cell somewhere. But on the right, with webhook automations, you get instant, real-time data transfer. It's reliable, it's consistent, and it happens the second you need it to. This isn't just about saving time, it's about building a business that runs on a solid, dependable system.
All right, enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty and actually build one of these things. We're going to walk through the exact steps you need to take to send data from your GoHighLevel account to pretty much any other application out there.
And the best part? All of this magic happens in a place you're probably already super familiar with, the GHL Workflow Builder. A custom webhook isn't some weird hidden feature. It's just another action you can add to any of your automations, right there next to sending an email or an SMS. Now, getting these first few steps right is absolutely key. So first, inside your workflow, you just add a new action and search for a webhook. Easy. Second, you got to choose the method. You'll see a few options here, but 9 times out of 10, when you're sending new info to another app, you're going to use post. Just think of it like you're posting a letter. And third, you'll paste in a unique URL you get from the other app. That URL, it's like a special private mailbox just for your data. Okay, so we've told GHL where to send the package. But now for the crucial part. We have to make sure the app on the other end can actually open up that package and understand what's inside. This step is called mapping. This, right here, is probably the most important part of the whole setup. On the left, you see the fields from GHL, like contact.name. On the right, you see what the other app calls that same piece of information, maybe something like customer_name. Your job is to simply play matchmaker. You're telling the system, hey, when you see contact.email from GHL, put that data into the email_address field in the other app. You're basically creating a little translation guide for your data. Now, you might also see a section called headers. I know, it sounds a bit technical, but don't worry, it's almost always just for security. The best way to think about it is like a secret password. The app receiving the data wants to make sure it's really you sending it. So it'll give you a special code. You might see it called an API key or an authorization token, and you just paste that code into the header. It's like showing your ID at the door to prove the data is from a trusted source. So now that we know how to build a webhook, let's get to the really exciting part. What you can actually do with this. This is where you truly break free from the limitations of only using the pre-built native integrations. Honestly, the possibilities here are, well, they're pretty much endless. You can automatically send a new lead over to HubSpot the second they fill out a form. You can trigger a complex quote to be generated in an external tool. You can connect to Stripe for custom payment actions. You could update your accounting software with a new sale in real time. You can even do the reverse and use webhooks to pull leads from other platforms into GHL. It's a true game changer.
And that is the biggest takeaway here. With custom webhooks, you are no longer at the mercy of the native integrations list. You become the architect of your own systems. If an app can receive data from a webhook, and believe me, most modern apps can, you can now connect it to GoHighLevel. You're the one in control.
So the only question left to ask is, what's the first bridge you're going to build? Think about it. What's that one tedious manual process in your business right now that you can finally, once and for all, automate for good? Your apps are ready to talk to each other. It's time to connect them.